Hello and welcome back. We're just going to rotate the turntable here so we can get the J83 out from the water towers. Now I know we've seen the model before, but I thought it was a great excuse to use it to collect the coaches from the long sidings that I want to use today with a new model of mine, the D49, named Cheshire. And that was a Hornby Railways item from 1981 to 83, catalogue number R378. And we'll see her shortly, but firstly let's have a little fun with the J83 here. Now this is the model that somebody very kindly sent to me, and I ended up having to change its drive gear just to improve its running. Lovely sound she makes on the rails, I think. And we'll just go beyond the points here. And we'll switch 3R and 2B and 1B, and we'll run out onto the main line, and we'll get the Clerestory Coaches from the long sidings. So I thought they would look quite good with the Cheshire today. Past the signal box. And then we'll switch open points 8R. And then we'll move up to the next set of points, which is 1Y, the curved point, into the long sidings. Great bright coloured cars on those transporters, aren't they? And then the Clerestory Coaches are just sitting next to the 100-ton tank wagons and the Class 37. That was a lovely smooth coupling, very satisfying, and away we go. So we're going to bring these up to the station now. A lovely shot here as she goes back towards the bright red girder bridge, through points 8R. Close the points behind her, remember to do that. And then we've got to alter the points here by the signal box. And then we'll get her into the line on the far side of the platform, and the J83 will end up on the sort of far side of the over canopy. And we'll be able to isolate her there. And there is the D49 named Cheshire. And we'll have a nice gentle stop just before the buffer. We'll just have a quick look over the motor here. So we've got the ring-filled motor there. I'll just see if I can get some focus on that. I think this is the same tender as the B17, or very, very similar to it. It has these awkward metal clips that should clip into the hold the tender top on, which has caused some damage. There was damage to this model when I bought it, but it's quite minor, I think. Probably reflected in its price, really. So the motor's not done a great deal of running. It's sort of nice and heavy. I'll just turn it over and have a look underneath. So like the B17, it's got these floating wheels, but unlike that one, these ones don't seem to catch in the point work, or haven't done so far. But it's in fairly tidy condition. Just the 2 traction tyres we got made in Great Britain or England on the bottom there. Let's just have a quick look, see if we can get that in focus there. We've got Hornby. Yeah, there we go, made in Great Britain. So we'll just pop that down. Oh, we've got the coupling there held in by a screw, plastic coupling held to the metal base of the tender by a flathead screw. I think they're plastic buffer heads, and possibly provision for a vacuum pipe there. Is that a little bit of silver detail being painted on there or not? No, it's a piece of polystyrene, I think, and there's another piece there too. I'll sort of brush that off. So let's just pop that down. We'll have a quick look at the tender top. So a great big load of coal in the top there, handrail, some slight tarnishing there, this separately fitted handrail, just with these sort of plastic stays pushed into the bodywork. See if we can get some detail on the inside there. It's all a bit black and moody now. See some sort of number being stamped into the bodywork, on the underside of the bodywork there. Let's see there we can see the damage there. That was shown clearly in the pictures. This was an eBay purchase, but I think that was possibly reflected in its price. You can see here as well. So it's not a great fixing. I don't think this way of holding the tender tops on, and those will just plug into the metal frame of the tender there. Again, handrails down the side there. But again, from an arm's length sort of point of view, it looks fairly good on the railway. Yeah, struggling with the focus again there today. So let's pop that down. We'll have a quick look over the locomotive body. Now it should have had a smoke unit in it. This, I think versions of this were sold with a smoke unit. And the packaging, let's just have a quick look at the packaging. We'll come back to that in a second. So if you have a look at the insert picture there, you can see the entire outside of the box. And but let's just have a quick glance at the instructions here. So there we've got the model number R378. Let's see if we can read this collection of numbers: 16, 11, 81, 1981. And you see here instructions for filling the smoke unit. So I imagine it would have come with a smoke sachet of smoke fluid. I think from what I read, it should have had crew and vacuum pipes as well. But again, the sheet's fairly general from this period. So let's just open that out. I think we've seen a number of these before. Covers a great deal of the models in the range at the time. Some great illustrations there. So we'll just fold that over. Have one last look at the front side of the sheet. But this is why we were going to look at the box. So you can see there, with smoke, locomotive crew and vacuum pipe. So all of that is missing from this particular box. I suppose it's had a bit of a life, and I'm imagining some of those items in that filling syringe perhaps would have lived in this area within the packaging, inside the box. So they would have sat safely in there, but sadly missing. I'm not sure what this numbering refers to, but quite a lovely image on the front there. Try and get that without any shine on it there. So I'm thinking 1981 to 83 this model was available. So let's pop that down. And I think it's quite a sophisticated looking model, but I'm viewing that from a person who collects sort of toy trains really, rather than proper scale models, I imagine. So it's got its number on the buffer beam there. Again, I'm really struggling with the focus here. I mean, you can just see that. And, the wire handrail there is a little tarnished, but it's sort of behaving itself. It's not sort of coming adrift like on the B17. So fairly nicely applied, all of that stuff there. Again, that whistle, these do tend to always have the effect of being bent. I don't know whether they're just so susceptible to damage. That lovely red line picking out along the edge of the plate there. Plenty of detail in there, and we do have some glazing in there. Let's see if we can get a better image of that for you. There we go. Detail across the top of the cab roof. And it has that sort of a sheen about it. It's not sort of waxy and it's not shiny, so it's sort of quite a silky sheen to it. Lovely detail along there. Let's see if we can get a little bit tighter and have a look along there. And you see more dust there. I really should perhaps clean these a little better. That's perhaps better focus on the front end there. So we'll pop that down. I'll have a quick look over the chassis. So it does have a sprung drawbar. I think that's an effort, possibly to improve pickup and get it more close coupled with the tender, so it is some element of springiness in there. So far in playing with it, the connection between the two seems fairly reliable. It's not terribly stop-start. There's the occasional stutter, but it's pretty good. And we've got pickups all the way down one side, including on the bogie here. So if we look at this side here, you've got metal wheels. You can see the backs of the spokes are all metal, and this side we've got plastic centers. And again, let's get that in focus. There we go. We've got the cable running. I don't know whether we can see that. The cable running to the bogie there. So we've got pickup all the way down one side of the model, which I think is quite an impressive thing. Let me just have a look over it. So quite a lovely looking valve gear. I don't think there are any plastic parts in that. So this is around about the period, I think, where plastic parts were beginning to creep into the valve gear. Let's have a swift look down the underside now as well. And there we've got Made in Great Britain and Hornby. I apologise, that's upside down. So we'll just spin that around. We'll see if we can read those words the correct way round. There we go, Made in Great Britain and Hornby. And lovely plated wheels or tyres put on around the outside of the wheels. I think they're, or are they cast all as one? I think those driving wheels may be cast as one and then plated. I'm not quite sure, although they could be tyres. A little difficult to tell looking through the back of the camera here. Just a quick look again at the underside here. It was only when I was putting the tender back together that I realised that I should have pointed out that the smoke unit would probably have been slid in there. So I've yet to get a model with one of these later smoke units in. I've seen some individually available for sale on the well-known auction site, but they're quite expensive. But so far I've not tried one out myself. It'd be interesting to hear if anybody's had a go with one of these smoke units, these later ones. It doesn't look like this one's ever really smoked, as it were. I'm assuming it probably was fitted with one originally. We'll just uncouple those coaches, and then we'll isolate the J83. The J83 comes from 76 to 78, I think I forgot to say that earlier. And off she goes. She does sort of charge into life a little bit. I don't think she's done that much running, potentially, this model. It would benefit from a bit more time on the track, maybe. And that coach is one I've just recently got. Came from Elaine's Trains. I just saw it on her site and thought it would go nicely with the other four I have. Any excuse. However, nice gentle coupling there. And off we go, leaving the J83 isolated at the end of the siding or the end of the platform, whichever way we want to view it. Looking quite impressive as she draws out of the station. Even with all those pickups we saw along the edge of this model, there is still the occasional sort of stutter on some of the point work and the diamond crossing. I don't know whether we're going to see it, but I have noticed when I've been playing with it, we do get the odd sort of slight hesitation in the running. I'm not sure whether that's down to the connection between the loco and tender or contact with the track. but it sort of purrs away quite beautifully. And around the back of the station there, we're going to come to a gentle stop just next to the goods shed. We'll open up the elevated section. Now I don't think there's any wheel slip here. We'll have a look a little later on and see if we can perceive any wheel slip with a controlled move away, I think. But from the playing I've done, it's a fairly confident climber on this elevated section anyway. And very controllable on the descent with those 5 coaches behind her. Some of those roofs do look a little yellow. And then a nice stop there, and we'll get the point work switched. Nice snake effect there with the coaches coming around those curves. Lovely clatter from the point work. Storming round the curve, and away she goes. And then we'll just bring that to a stop there, I think. And I just got to switch a few points. I'm going to flip the camera around now, so we're back on the gimbal rather than on the tripod. So just bear with me while I rotate the camera. There we have it, and we're just going to switch points number 3G and 2B, and we'll drop back round and have a quick look at it back on the elevated section. Firstly, let's just have a look at how close the coupling of the tender and the locomotive are. Perhaps I should have spun the camera back round again to get in tight there. So that really is quite close, isn't it? Let me roll that forward and see what we see when that goes forwards. So it doesn't appear to be any sprung effect, but I think it actually pivots on the corner of the tender by the looks of it. It looks like the body of the locomotive and the tender actually touch from time to time when going around curves, so that's where that sprung effect comes from. And then there's that new coach there that's got the shiny buffer heads on it there. I don't know whether that's original or whether somebody's made those shiny. The other 4 that I have certainly don't have shiny buffer heads, so I'm going to rotate the camera around again, and let's follow her around through the point work. It's looking pretty good. Let's see if she has that little stutter on the diamond again, even with all of those pickups. No, not too bad moving at this slightly quicker speed. Let's just take the edge off to come through this set of points, I think. And now let's get it all the way on the elevated section there. And let's give that a little power and see how we do moving off there. Let's get in tight. Of course, we won't be able to see any wheel slip. We can't see the tender wheels. Let's see. I don't think it slips. No, I don't think there's any slip there. Let's make that go backwards. That was a bit more of a jump into life than I was expecting then. Let's go forwards. And they're quite big wheels on that tender as well. So I suppose that all helps. Get a nice look above at the tender there. I think it is all in all quite a pretty model. I think there was a black variant of this in the early to mid 80s as well. Now I think we're going to have to stop here and sort out the point work. So just put the controller down there, and we've got 3G, and let's keep it on the inside line, so we'll close 2B, and we may as well close 1B whilst we're at it, I think. There we have it. So let me flip the camera around again, and we'll get her off into action again. There we go, turning the controller the wrong way. Lovely clatter as it comes over the point work. Off into the distance, and then we'll bring it to a gentle stop just alongside the station here, I think. Let's have a swift look at one of those coaches. Let's see if we can get an uncoupler in there. Oh, nudge those backwards. There we have it. So I think maybe somebody's painted those up. I'm not sure that's an original Hornby feature. I think these coaches were just made in maybe 73 and 74 only. Fairly good condition. Let's just pop that down. So just recently got that one. I think I said came from Elaine's Trains. It's got its original box. So I've got boxes for all of them. Let's have a quick look at the ends of the boxes here. So that's the one the new one came from. So sometimes these were R25 and sometimes R025 for the brake. I think we've got a similar situation going on here for the coach as well, R24, R024. Some interesting pricing. We've got scribbling on here as well. But box is in fairly good nick. So on my tiptoes here, almost falling over backwards, so we'll pop those down. And we've seen the box for the locomotive, but I've got the 81 catalogue here, and I thought we might just have a swift look at how the model looked that year in the catalogue. So we'll just create some space down here. I'm going to flip the camera over. Oh, and the other thing I don't know what I've already mentioned, is the colouring of this coach. It does appear to be quite a bit lighter, I think. Mind you, that one appears lighter than that one. So I think there's some variance in the batch. I think we were talking about that perhaps last week when we look at the 100-ton tank wagons, that the colour shift and the use of plastics potentially, and how they age. And originally, when you perhaps change from one batch of plastic to another, of course in real life things do change colour. So here we've got the 1981 catalogue. Terrific, what looks like a pencil type illustration on it there. We're not going to look through all of it because I think there is quite a lot of it. I have an idea we've looked over this one relatively recently as well. So we'll try and stay sensible with it. So it is a very, very thick catalogue. It has a great deal of information and models in it. And we've got the models being prepared in the factory by the looks of it there, showing how much care and attention is taken to putting these things together. A little bit of a cutout there. I think this is stroke photograph stroke illustration, perhaps. A combination of the two to get this effect. So it's a bit of a different sort of style to the previous catalogues. Track packs. And here we've got a number of these 440 locomotives, and I think this smoke unit was used in a number of them. Look at that, that's definitely got a bit of a smoking habit, that one, hasn't it? So it will be interesting to find out how well these later units really work, but they look to be quite messy. The syringe it looks quite businesslike. I don't know whether that would have come with the model. I'm not. Extra supplies of smoke oil are available as R521 sachet of smoke oil. Doesn't mention the syringe, but looks like a good way of applying it rather than trying to pour it down the chimney. So lovely looking locomotive. County of Bedford, don't have one of those. I don't have many things from this period. So I'll just have a quick look over here. Plenty more of these sort of pencil style illustrations. I do have one of those though. And what have we got here? The Hall class, the Hagley Hall. We've got a set of those. We've seen those on the railway very recently. And there we've got another 440. The LMS Ex Midland class 4P 440 compound. Yeah, we've just seen her. What was that? The renamed one? Yeah, it's renamed Duchess of Abercorn at this stage, so slightly different model. So it helps to keep changing the names. I suppose by this period they'd discovered it sold more models. Of the earlier Trying Railways period, Trying Hornby period, they tended to name the model and stick with the name. And they experimented with alternative names. Fine looking set of models there. Yeah, still after one of those. Some great looking items. And now we have the Cheshire R378 LNER class D49/1, it says there. 440 locomotive. Again, it's definitely got a bit of smoke on there, hasn't it? Quite an impressive looking photograph. There she is running with those slightly later style teaks that I have. They're sitting. Let's have a quick glance around here. So I've got those sitting in the sidings here. I just thought the Clerestory Coaches looked more the part, to be honest, and having just acquired another brake. Actually, that's not the one I've just acquired, it's the one at the other end, the light one, the one that's lighter in colour. So I thought we should run it with that. And in this catalogue it looks like a new version of the Flying Scotsman. I think the body has been remade, possibly new chassis by this time. I'm not sure whether it's tender drive or not, but I don't have one of those. So here it says a completely new Hornby Flying Scotsman. So yeah, it says it's got easy fit connections for 01. So maybe one day. And there we've got the B17. We've seen that running on the railway recently. I think she's just sitting in the engine shed as it happens. Let's have a quick glance at that. So we'll lift up the engine shed. It's very Thunderbirds, isn't it? An elevating engine shed. So yeah, models were definitely changing at this period. As I say, this is probably right on the edge of my collecting period. But I think that's probably it. I'll just have a quick glance at some of these coaches here. And that's quite a pretty model. The Skulls class. I'm wondering whether it's the same chassis in use on all these 440s. It probably is. Get plenty of use. Oh, there we go. London, Brighton and South Coast. We've got her sitting on the railway over here with a couple of those southern coaches from the mid-70s. So let's yes, we're getting into all sorts of other things here. The Morning Star, I haven't got one of those. Almost had one of those. Missed out on it. But maybe another day. I do have the Mallard, but the slightly earlier version, which isn't painted. And I think we'll probably call it a day there with the catalogue. Otherwise we're going to get bogged down in all sorts of other things, he says. And then there's the APT and the terrific Intercity 125 there. I think we really will leave that there. And we'll just say goodbye, I think. Thank you again. It's hugely appreciated. If you look back again next time, we'll have something else from the range to look at. So we'll just send her on the way. We'll close up the points there, and we'll see you next time.